Early on, when QHS was first forming, Darlene grasped the fact that the tests she was performing validate the QT wave is working, miraculously for some and subtly for most. The benefits, though, couldn't hide from the member reports and graphs. She knew that her graphs and reports would show the story of healing and set out to visibly prove the quantum twine wave effect works. For those tested showing no benefit, this was a motivation to discover why. We are not diagnosing, treating, or prescribing from a medical standpoint. This is for educational purposes only. Hey everyone, welcome to the BioScan Project with Darlene. We're super excited to have you here today because this is one of our important projects to show the proof of concept results. And today you are super fortunate to hear from both Kathy, who's a member, and Rodge, who is a part of admin. So welcome everyone, and hello, Darlene.
Hello. Yeah, and so the reason I want to bring Kathy in is she's one of my personal people that comes to me directly. And when we work, when I can work with you directly, I can do more testing. The remote testing is limited, but it pretty much does pinpoint the inflammation of the organs. And that's what we're measuring here. And that's what shows progress over time. And what I'm seeing through the 2 years of doing this BioScan project is most people after a year show a major improvement. So within the year, you'll see the numbers fluctuating, and that's normal. As people address their inflammation and where they need to go nutritionally, hormonally, and also, through knowing what organs that are causing their disturbances. And with these graphs, it's kind of like it's a report card. It's saying, hey, this is where you need to go. And depending on let's just say I look at this as a marathon of health, of how fast do you want to get healthier? How fast do you want to get to the finish line? And so this way, everybody can really look at their progress. And those that I'm not testing, those will be, where you can see how they're progressing and how they're making moves in their lifestyle to get to a better place. So we'll go through her process. And okay, so what I wanted to show first with Kathy is this is a report that shows more detail, but it also shows a comparison. So she started coming to me back in October of last year. And, basically she is balanced and there's a lot of stressors going on. And so over the time, we determined what are the stressors and what organ does she need to really work on. So, this is a P chart. So this pretty much tells you what she needs to work on now and where she is at this time in her life right now. And so mainly she's looking at what allergies are causing her issues, her nervous system, and overall it's her endocrine. And she'll go over with what she's been doing with her hormones as well as for her gut health as well. But overall, she's still working on her nutritional deficiencies. So that report is pretty detailed of what is happening. Well, we just tested her last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
She has no red.
Yeah. Well, there's no red with her. No, she never was in the red. But when this was during her 4th report. Now, when people come to me personally, we looked at her gut health, and there were some things going on because of what she was telling me. I listened, and she was having some issues. And she'll tell you what she's been doing for gut health. But basically, what I can do is I go in and I was on her large intestine point. And when I get positives, that determines what pathogen is causing those issues. Well, a lot of times, Dr. Gloria wrote about, all the nutritional deficiencies, what causes depression and what causes our anxiety, and finding out what, this basically takes the guesswork out of where you need to go. when you can have this kind of testing done. So we addressed that she was more parasitical. So she looked at her body as a whole and she said, what can I do to counteract my parasites? And that's kind of what was determined there. And these reports kind of, when I get a lot of positives, that means that those issues are addressing the large intestine.
And
so
then when you
so
write, sorry, Darlene, I want you to go back a minute. So you said something about addressing the parasites. Are you going to be able to review that so that we can all learn how to address parasites? Like your best tip on
right,
that?
I'm going to let her tell you
Okay.
what was informative for her, because what I do is I tell people how to go about addressing their parasites and where to go, and whether they take it to the next level, that's up to them. But she did, and then as you can see, you'll see her reports progress, and she is getting better. But right now, this is bacteria. It is saying she needed minerals. Then it pulled up the parasites from N through Z, and so we just look at what are the causes. And when we look at causes, we determine what pathogen is more dominant at that time. And usually it is right. And without having all these blood tests done, this is a cheaper way to go. So if you can find a EDS tester in your area, this is a very good way of just finding out what pathogen is disturbing your gut health. And that's kind of why I wanted to show that report.
Right.
Because a lot of times we don't know, we guess. We think, oh, is it bacteria? Is it parasites? But here, this is this is back in February. So as you can see, now we're determining if you're in the first two phases, that's balance. That's where you're nutritionally sound. And when you're in the third and fourth, that's when you need to address nutrition and find out, what you can do to get out of the stress phase. And then, let's see here. Okay. So Kathy, this was back in April, and I would like for you to tell them what was going on. When you came to me, all her numbers were in the third phase, meaning, and almost in the fourth phase, because as you see, it's 94%. So it's almost in the fourth phase. So when we did that, that's where I pinpointed her large intestine point, and then we determined she did have parasites. So Kathy, you want to go on and kind of discuss what it was that you did to address this?
Hi, Darlene. Hi, Tracy. Nice to be
This
here.
is
Hello there, Kathy. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here with you. Yeah, when I was there, when I went to that visit to you, Darlene, I was really tired, and it's just my energy was so low. But I had been doing some cleansing before that. I know that you had told me about MMS, and I was doing some of that. And I was also working on cleansing my colon to get it ready for the other things that I was going to be doing. And I think at this point, though, I had not done any parasite cleanses, because you just found them in this one. So I also, I've had allergies and eczema throughout my life, and I made changes in the way that I was eating when I was in my 30s. And I started to become a vegan, and things started to dissipate at that point. And I had, went to alternative doctors for quite some time. And then when I found out about the, and the eczema still, it would go away, but then it would come back, and it was just kind of, and allergies and stuff like that. So I have been doing cleanses and working on my health for quite a while. But then I found out about 5 years ago that I actually had metal toxicity, and my mercury levels were quite high, and I had high nickel as well, and I think some lead. And so I started doing some cleansing with that, red light therapy, glutathione, charcoal, and then I started to get into Qigong as well, which was very helpful. And then I got into Kundalini yoga. So all of that was starting to balance the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of myself. But the metal toxicity was very challenging. I mean, I was doing cleansing for over a year. And then when I got the device back in 2022, that was so awesome to join QHS. And so when I went to I started to see Darlene, and I knew that I had gotten the metal toxicity in a good place, but I knew that I probably had some organ damage, system damage, things like that. So my endocrine system has been an issue. I've had things that I've worked on for my gut health. And so seeing Darlene, it was awesome to get all of this right in front of me, and knowing that there was more work that I definitely needed to do. And so at that point, Darlene, you were talking to me about, doing a parasite cleanse. And I did that. And I did it for like 21 days, I think, maybe 30. And I know I could have done more. And I also, within the cleansing of that, I did some colon cleansing so that my colon was working well. And I started to get some colonics as well with that, which was very helpful. And I'm still doing that. So
Yeah, she started working on her gut health and her colon. And then also before that, you were working on your endocrine system, on your hormonal support. What happened was her endocrine system did get more into the balance phase. So right now she's more balanced in her endocrine, and now her digestive system is more balanced. So there's other areas that are being addressed here nutritionally, but those are the two areas that are showing really good progress because of what she's doing for herself. And also, with the QT Wave device, and also, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling much better. And I'm using the electrolytes now as well, which you told me about, that I needed that, because I was drinking a lot of water, but I was very dehydrated, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And so that's made a big difference. And also I started doing some bioidentical hormones, and I've been working on that, and that's getting more balanced. It's still not there yet. I would like to have more energy than I do have. And I still, when I'm doing the cleansing, the thing about it is that I have to do it very slowly, because it starts to, I know it's supposed to come out in your skin, but I already have issues with my skin. I have in the past. And so it gets a little bit more exacerbated when I do the cleansing. And now that my colon is working really well, that makes that much easier. And my lymphatic system is working much better, because that was very compromised when I was doing the metal cleansing a long time ago, when I first, like 5 years ago. So, but yeah, it's getting much better. When I got the device, I was one of those that I didn't really notice anything that was happening. But I have noticed that I was having severe sleep issues when I was doing the metal cleansing about 4 or 5 years ago, and it had remained an issue. And now, I mean, I sleep really well. And so that's a big thing for me, because I've had my adrenals have been exhausted for quite some time. So
I'm going to go ahead and share this slide, because I think this is a really good thing to see for the members.
Yeah, that's Kathy's. Yes.
And here's why. Because the first one, you have some in the green, and some in the stressed, or is that stressed? Yeah. And then they're all in the stressed. And then now they're way improved. And I always like to say it's worse before better. So it's like, it's almost like the toxicity or the problems that our system are lying underneath the surface. And then with the QT Wave, it brings it more to the top so it can be addressed. And then once it's there, it could be addressed, and then it's like a whoosh. And now look at her. That's amazing.
Yeah, Darlene is amazing too. It's so fun to go there and get all these tests done and be able to see all of this that's going on. And
And we're
you know,
not
I'm
guessing.
one of those, yeah, I'm one of those kind of people that if you tell me what the issue is and tell me what to do, I will go and do it because it's very important. I don't procrastinate with any of that kind of stuff. And Darlene has given me some great advice.
Yeah, she knows her stuff, that's for sure.
Well, and when it comes to our overall body, it is getting to the cause of our issues, and that's what I want to let people know, that when you start wearing the device, it's not an overnight success. I mean, we have a lot of issues that we have to address, and some people are healthier than others, but we're all different and we all heal differently. So I'm really happy to see Kathy on her way. And also when it comes to the hormones, we really do. I mean, overall, when you start running around, when you're 55 or older, your hormones take a toll on your body. And then that breaks down a lot of organs as well. So that's our motor. That's what runs our body. And, it's that fight or flight. If we don't address those adrenals and we don't address our nutritional content of, well, getting the proper antioxidants is important too.
Yep.
So that's where it falls in line, is where do you need to go nutritionally? And so that's what these reports are showing.
So does anybody have any questions about Kathy's report? You want to talk to Kathy or Darlene or?
Okay, so this is beautiful. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that. And thank you, Darlene, Tracy. This is awesome. My question is, what did you do to cleanse your parasites?
I got a parasite cleanse through, is it Nature's Sunshine? I think it was.
Okay.
And I did it for 20, it's very easy. I also did some apple cider vinegar or lemon and water when I was doing it. And it's very easy to, you take some pills, and I normally eat, my diet is quite clean. I eat fruits and vegetables, and I get protein and stuff, but I started to add a little bit of fish to it, low mercury fish, salmon, organic, wild, and cod, some things like that. And so, I just was working on, doing that. And I think I did it for about 30 days. But in that time period, it might have been longer. I'm not really sure, but I remember in that time period, every maybe 10 days, I went and I got colonics, a colonic as well.
Mhm.
It was very helpful because the parasites, when they die, they're sitting there and they can go back into your bloodstream and make you not feel so good. And so I was working on that stuff too. And also where I live, we have a really amazing salt cave. So I would go there, and then they also have a red light sauna. So those were other ways to help detox my body. And each day, I do yoga, Kundalini yoga, probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. And so I was doing a lot of work with that as well. And then I would do the meditations with the device. Pinpointing what it was where I wanted the energy to go, and things that I wanted. I had intentions and things like that. So I was doing a lot of that kind of work too.
Cool. Real quick, I'm sorry, guys. Just one more question. Did you do that kind of in lockstep, if you will, or simultaneous with the colon cleanse or liver colon cleanse as well by Nature's Sunshine?
I actually, the colon, I prepared my colon, as best I could before I did the parasite cleanse, because I didn't want the parasites staying in my system. I wanted them to leave. And so I had already worked on that. I did not do a liver cleanse at the time that I was doing the parasite cleanse, because that was my main focus, was the parasite cleanse.
Yeah, and by addressing the parasite cleanse, you are cleansing out your liver. So,
Oh, you
she was doing the probiotics and the fiber as well. So yeah, she
Yeah.
was, protecting the lining, the intrinsic lining of the gut health, the wall of your stomach. So a lot of times you want to do that as a protective barrier. So when you do eliminate, she's nurturing her body as she's eliminating toxins. A lot of times when you're detoxifying, you don't nurture the body, you don't give it back the good flora and the nutrition it needs, it won't, you're just going to be going on, and the liver is going to have to remanufacture all that. So there is a process, and it's the fridge report. I have the famous fridge report that seems to be helping people. And it is just a simple program of how to address, your gut health and get to a better place.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, I think one thing though that I was missing at that time was the electrolytes.
Mhm.
I've noticed
Her polarity was low.
I'm
Yes.
bouncing back from any kind of cleansing that I'm doing, much better. And it's keeping me in a much more energetic, high energy state, so that my body can help me a lot more.
Also the ionic minerals, you're doing the minerals as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the fulvic acid. That's our backbone. And without the minerals and the electrolytes, this device won't work efficiently. And what we're doing here is we're looking at how we can help the device, how we can help the QT Twine device work and do its job. So we can eliminate what's causing blockage, then it's going to proceed with the frequencies and give us that perfected health that we're looking for. That's what this is all about.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kathy. I am really impressed with your report. So keep doing what you're doing. It looks beautiful.
Thanks, Tracy.
Awesome. All right, Rodge, are you ready to go into the hot seat?
Let's do it.
Okay. So Rodge is, why we're bringing up her report, it just shows you don't get defeated. Don't, say that it's not working, because so as you can see now, Rodge will tell you what she's been through. And a lot of times, when we talk about emotional distress, we're talking about, our gut health. And so back when I first did her base test, we're seeing her skin, but a lot of her numbers were in the 4th phase. So as she progressed and I gave her some nutritional, advice, we go here. This was back in January. So as you can see, her skin is still, and this is what I'm seeing a lot. People, their skin is still staying inflamed. That's where we hold toxins. And also her joints were inflamed, and her digestive health. So at that time, Rodge kind of explained you were going through some emotional changes. And this is what we're measuring here. We're measuring stress and inflammation. So depending on your life and what you're going through, will the device help? Well, it does help emotionally, but what is determining why our organs get inflamed? And so when she was talking to me, she was telling me that she was going through some major life changes. And then she was also addressing nutrition, but what else were you doing, Rodge, that you could kind of explain? This was back in January of this year.
Okay. When I first did the initial baseline testing in September, the first numbers between then and the second sample that I submitted, which would be the one we were just looking at, 121, that it came out, I was just in a really bad place during the holiday, and it was a lot of mental and emotional for me. I was under a lot of stressors, having to actually handle daily life, just things were changing. I was, considering making a considerable change in my life. And while everyone was celebrating the holidays, my life was kind of, falling apart, and I was inside. I'm 54 years old, and I'll be 55 this year. And I'm actually, I have kind of a funny take on the way that I view things, and I look at things, I accept it or I don't accept it. And I don't like labels. I don't like to be labeled like, oh, I have menopause. That's the problem. I need to get my hormones. Everything will be okay if I just get my hormones under control, or, and take your prebiotics, take your probiotics. It was just really tough for me, and it was confusing for me. And I hadn't taken my vitamins like I should have, like when I was younger. And I didn't, I'm just going through life. And when you took the very first baseline, I hadn't done anything except for just live life. So, and at that time, we hadn't got together. So when my second results came out, and, and you had gave me some, some tips and some things that I actually did implement, that we had discussed, I was really excited to, try it, try taking vitamins. We shared a few things, and, with me, that made taking better care of myself for the first time in my life. I took a proactive step with what I was eating and what I was doing for the first time. I wanted to participate in my own life. Before, I was just taking care of everyone else and making sure everybody else had their vitamins and everything. And I wasn't never addressing my own, personal self. And so when I met Darlene and I joined the BioScan Project, I realized that this was very important, and that this was a way for me to be able to, be graded, so that I could know that my efforts were, that I was doing would be what were being affected. Now, my intention was to get better results, but the recommendations that Darlene had shared with me, I made some changes, but I didn't follow them verbatim like I should have. So this last time, when her and I had discussed, had gotten together, and really when I submitted my last BioScan with my last sample for that, that study trial period, I hadn't been on doing the new things that I was doing and implementing the things that I was putting into my life, like taking my vitamins, and, they hadn't gotten in my system. And, I've since went on to, actually do some things, and I plan on doing some of the things that has been recommended to me, and, just to see if they are going to benefit me. But I've been really stressed out, and it's really more mental and emotional. And I battle with sugar. Sugar is one of the biggest battles, because I love chocolate chip cookies. I love those cookies. I can grab that cookie. I'll eat that cookie. It's okay if I have one cookie, but 6 cookies, no, no, no. And one thing I've noticed since using the QT wave and the frequencies is that for years I haven't consumed milk and dairy products, and I grew up drinking a gallon of milk every day, and, and I eliminated that out of my system for years. And I just started getting cravings for cookies and milk. And, late night cookies and milk, they're not your friend. And so it started, my inflammation, and probably with, we were focusing on my liver health. And, I did the bowel detox, but I'm really not sure, Darlene, what, if I'm.
Well, what I wanted to address here is, even though your last report still, you are you know, you are considering your nutritional deficiencies and working with your gut health, your nervous system moved into the balance. So when we looked at the last report, when you're, okay, here, when we look at this one, okay, look where your nervous system was and your emotional. Now your cardiovascular was no number. That means it's good. I mean, we all want to be no numbers.
Yeah, that was
But
my goal.
but the respiratory, the breathing. And so what I'm looking at now too is how the QT Twine device, what is it working on first? So I'm seeing as people progress, it's working on the mental state, it's working on the emotionals, and it's helping you sleep. So anytime you're sleeping better, you're repairing your cells on a cellular level. We know that sleep deprivation is the #1 cause of death. So we know that, you know, over time, if we can address our emotional issues, then the rest will follow in play. And now your second brain and your stomach, your gut health is your second brain. So that is controlling your emotions too. So once you address your, well, your digestive health right now, and that's where you need to go. And then we're going to see Raj, you know, her numbers are going to move over pretty easy now that she knows what she needs to do and has that want to. That's where it comes from. And when they see these reports and what you're seeing, when you see the inflammation go from one phase to a second phase to another phase, that's progress. So overall, her respiratory and her cardio and her nervous system are doing well now. Now it's just getting the rest of the organs to be less inflamed. And a lot of times when you address the gut health will address 80% of that. It will address that.
Question. What about the skin? Would dry brushing help?
No, because you're holding, I mean, yeah, all that will help. The sweating will help, you know, it
Yes.
will pull that out, your lymphatic system. But, you know, the skin holds the toxins. So, you know, it's from the gut. So until you address that, then you can, you know, that's why it's good to sweat as you eliminate and as you detox. So you're helping the endocrine system, you know, the elimination system to progress. And you're giving it, you know, you're giving it a push because it's not doing it on its own.
Well, what I actually was at the Waves of Wellness when Darlene spoke about saunas and how important it was to, you know, to sweat. And, you know, I don't have, you, all of our circumstances are all different, right? You even, Tracy, had suggested that you made the homemade sauna. You know, you got the stuff, you did that. Well, the way I got creative is I actually just, you know, the way that my bathroom's set up, what I have been doing, and this is stuff that I was doing that I started after seeing your show, which I already had submitted my 3rd samples before I started doing, you know, what I was doing to probably pull out those toxins between the time that you know, Darlene and I got what, you know, and went over my results on just this last Saturday. So what I had been doing is using bentonite, baking soda, borax, and volcanic ash in a really hot bath. And I would just sit in there and I would ground myself and just, you know, let it just, you know, work its magic and just totally reduce that inflammation, you know, and that was, so before I even met with Darlene, I subconsciously, honestly, was doing this to pull those toxins out myself just from the information from being at the Waves of Wellness, right? Because I felt like anything that I can do proactive to help myself, because I can't get out. I mean, you know, we have a great colonics person here. I mean, and there's just not enough time in the day sometimes, you know, to just implement all this stuff. I mean, it's a process from the minute that you wake up in the morning. You have to set the intentions. I've got to have that enzymes. I got to do this. I got to, you know, to put the MCC in my oil. I got to get the greens to go. Okay. I was actually going to ask you, Darlene, if I implement all of this stuff, I would really love it if I could just retest again, just to see if all of these things, you know, doing the prebiotics, doing the probiotics, you know, I was doing my greens to, you know, up my nutrition, because I know our food lacks the minerals and the nutrition that we need in our diets. And, you know, like I want to do the protein. I want, you know, to eat a little bit here and a little bit there. I believe that medicine is our food and food is our medicine. And that is actually how I, you know, served food in my home for 26 years. I just, you know, I ate the food. I just wasn't passionate about it. And I really believe that now that I'm passionate about my own health, has nothing to do with anybody else. It's just me. I have to make those changes, you know, because I want those results. I told Darlene I would like to be able to see a blank screen. To me, that's optimal functioning
That's a
condition,
good goal. Yeah.
is just to be blank. Okay. And I believe that, you know, that we have enough information that we can make this transition easier for ourselves, but we have to come and meet it halfway. We just do. It's just better if we just embrace this experience, meet it halfway, do what we can, don't stress about it, don't bring ourselves down, and just keep trying to do the best we can. And that is all I try to do every day, is just the best I can do, you
Perfect.
know?
It's all you can do. And, you know, and now you have a roadmap to where you need to go. So, you know, for years, I mean, I've been working with people, and it's always, I will tell you, the number one progress is when they start addressing their gut health and removing the toxins, they get better, because that's our major cause. How could I be any more simpler than that? So, you know, and these tests are just showing and that the inflammation will decrease if you feed the body what it needs. And that's the tools we have. And along with the QT Twine device, anything that you're doing good is going to amplify. Anything you're doing bad will amplify as well.
Right.
So it's the inability of the body to release toxins. That's when you're in left spin. And that's what we try to do. We try to get people in right spin. And that's where the fulvic acid, the minerals come in, the electrolytes come in. And when you address that, then you're giving your body, you're nurturing your body just like you would a garden. You're fertilizing it and you're nurturing it that way. So we can battle these toxins that we've been up against for so many years. And until we clean our kingdom and our queendom, you know, we're having to do the work. But will there ever be a time where we don't have to worry about it? Yeah, I think so. I think our frequencies, everything will be in the atmosphere, and we'll have good food, good air, good water. We won't be poisoned, you know. But right now, how can we make it better? How can we create a world that, you know, just thinking positive like you're doing, Raj and Kathy, and you're going in a great direction, and you've got the want to, and you're taking that roadmap. And when it comes to a routine, you know, I've been doing this for years. I mean, I have a simple routine. I put it on video for you, Tracy. And basically it's my routine, what I do in the morning. And if you get it done in the morning, it's done. You know, it's done. So, you know, you just make it efficient, just like you do with exercise, and you plan it, just like Tracy was saying, you plan, you put it in your schedule. And I know with you, Raj, you're taking care of a mother-in-law. I have a sick sister-in-law as well. And, you know, when we have family members that kind of take our time, yes. How do we do it? But some days it's for you. It's for you. And getting outside in nature. You know, we were talking about getting out in the trees and, walking the beach if you have a beach, those are all things that we can do to nurture our bodies.
I was listening to Alex's call on Friday. I listened to the recording. I finished it today, and he said the number one thing that we can do is ground ourselves. And he said, put ourselves in balance with the earth of the frequency. And I also want to add for the members listening is that I have heard Dr. Alfredo say that the QT wave is to remove vectors from your body. So the detoxing that they're talking about here today helps, right? Because we know that the QT wave is like peeling the layers of the onion. And some of us have massive onions and some of us have little small onions, right? So we're peeling the wave, we're peeling back the layers. But this does remove vectors from your body. But when you do things that Darlene picks up and finds that you need these extra cleanses or, parasites or heavy metals, that supports the work that this is doing. So it will help you faster. Would you agree with that, Darlene?
Yes. And the frequencies, we're talking about a perfect female and male at the age of 30. But that's what I'm about, just let's help the device work more efficiently.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will take longer. It depends on how long you want to get to that finish line. So if you can accelerate it by eliminating it and getting to a better place, then yeah, you're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to sleep. Oh, sleep is just amazing. Like today, we all slept in, the animals, and we're like, what was going on? We went to bed early. Why are we sleeping so much? And I think, now that we have this home device, and along with our QT Twine, what level of frequencies do we need to be perfected? So this is what we're finding out. We're testing it. We're proof of concept. And we'll know. I mean, in the years to come, this will be recorded. I mean, this will be history in the making. It is. So, I mean, I've done biofeedback for years and what it takes, but we're as good as the last frequency we receive. So when we get it 24/7, yeah, it's working constantly on our cells and it's devitalizing pathogens, like you said.
Now, does anyone have questions for Darlene or Rodge or Kathy? Olivia, go ahead and unmute yourself, my dear.
Thank you. Okay, a question for Darlene. She mentioned if you have someone locally that can run a test for you, and I didn't catch the name of it. It was an EOS or a EES for pathogens to see which pathogens we're troubled with.
Right. You would go to IHT for a locator. Where do you live again? I forgot.
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Yeah, they have IHT testers in Arizona.
IHT testers? Okay.
Yes.
I was
It's
thinking that they're talking
IHT.
about EES or EOS, and I didn't catch that, but I'll check the other two.
Well, it's called electrical dermal screening is what
indeed.
the term
Okay.
is.
What's
Yeah.
the website, Darlene?
It's ihtbio.com.
Okay, I'll share a link so you guys can just click on the link and find it easy, okay?
Also at the bottom of my BioScan Project page in the website, there's a link there and it takes you to a locator, finding a practitioner.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
So I just put it here in the chat, or you can go on the BioScan page.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Okay, Corinne.
I just have another question regarding that, regarding parasites. Like, would chlorella and, chlorophyll, like those little tablets you can get, they're cold pressed and you can pick them up like on Amazon, but I'll take them every other day just for detoxing, heavy metals maybe. But you're right though, Darlene, of course, when you said, so you're guessing instead, and maybe that's not what I need, right? Or Donnie. So you'd recommend that EDS tester, and we're definitely going to grab that
Yeah,
website.
if you can go to somebody personally, or you can come here in Florida. I just had some people from Oregon come here yesterday, and
Oh,
they just made a trip here. But yeah, you know, it is guessing. I can't address which pathogen, you know, according to these remote testing. I can't tell you what's
right.
disturbing. But yeah, that would be a good way to check yourself out. And then you can compare it with the remote testing and get a good comparison that way.
Perfect. Yeah, we're about ready to send you a couple of samples, like urine samples. But, you know, so we value this.
Yeah, I
Thank
can
you.
determine, I can go in and do a little bit of detail work that way, but overall, if you can get someone personally, it's better.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
These tests, I mean, right now we're doing what we can, and they
Sure.
are accurate, because every time I talk to someone and I get a really, you know, let's just say they're all in the red, and I'll say, are you having these problems? Have you had these problems for years? And most of the time it does validate what they're going through. So
Right.
as they progress and as they get better, yeah, they're seeing what this all entails. So
And one last quick question about like fenbendazole or ivermectin. Is there
well,
any?
all those
Yeah.
are good for parasites like chlorella, and like you were saying, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll oxygenates the blood. So if you keep your blood in an oxygenative state, you know, I'm all about cancer preventative. Okay. So yes, it will help. You know, anytime you can keep your body in a pH of, you know, 5.5, bacteria won't grow. So those are all important to do, you know, and you could do chlorophyll enemas or MMS enemas. You know, the MMS is good to get rid of parasites. And ozone is another way of getting rid of parasites. So I know, because I deal with them myself, and I've had to be on top of it. So
Mhm.
parasites aren't anything to really, I mean, you have to really take it seriously. And if you're having colonoscopies and you have polyps, well, the number one cause of polyps is parasites. So you got to look at that.
Yeah.
And I'm one. I'm one that every time I go in, I have polyps. Why do I have it? Well, I have animals, I have dogs, I walk in the dirt. You know, there's over 500 species of parasites. So when it comes down to parasites, you know, everybody is encountered with them.
I would agree.
Thank you, guys.
Really quick, this is what I've been using to stay alkaline, is baking soda capsules in the morning and night, because when I drink baking soda, it makes me want to puke. So I do the capsules. It's horrible. Awesome. Thank you.
I'll
Kim,
have to get some of those, yeah, because it really does help with acid reflux.
I don't get reflux, but Gloria is always on my case to be more alkaline, take your urine strips, blah, 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 take your baking soda. And I can't gag it down. So these are easy. I just keep them by my toothbrush. So then, well, I have another one down the hall. But what I do is I take them after I brush my teeth every day. So before bed and first thing in the morning. Not around mealtime. Okay, Kim, go ahead.
Hello,
Hello. Oh, okay. Hi.
hello everyone. I'm out here on the interstate. I'm trying to do this fast as I can. I missed the turnoff here. I'm wanting to do this. How do I go about doing this?
Well, right now you can, where do you live, Kim?
I live in Missouri.
Okay, you can look for a tester locale. You know, right now my BioScan project just got filled up. I can only do 100 people. That's about all. But right now, if you wanted somebody to test you personally, in the website, in QHS website, on my BioScan project page, right, you have to scan all the way down to the bottom, and there's the link, and it'll take you to a locator in your area.
Okay. So what you guys are showing on the colors, the bar colors,
Mhm.
that's coming from someplace else?
No, that's coming from the technology that I use. Yeah, with this company is IHT, International Health Technology. And right now, in order to be a tester, you have to go through a certification and a program, and only certain people can have these machines when they qualify. So right now, there's probably about 150 people in the United States doing this kind of work. But I'm sure there's a few in Missouri as well.
Like what Rodge took, I would go someplace here in this town and or check around.
Yes. Yes, I just filled up the participation, so I can't take any more right now.
Will that open up again?
Well, right now we're waiting for the home healing systems to come in play, and then that's another 9-month study. So it'll be another 9 months.
Okay, thank you.
But if we bring somebody else on, which is the eventual goal, right, then perhaps she'll be able to open things up. What do you think?
Yeah, when we have the new devices, yeah, we'll
Oh,
do.
the B9, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, so there'll be another study for that as well. But right now, yeah. And also, are you getting the home healing device? Kim, you're muted. Are you getting the home healing device? You are. Okay. All right. Well, okay. We'll take one more. We'll take Donald. I'll just tell
Never
Donna.
say no. Did you hear what she said, Kim? When you get your home device, she'll take you on.
Yeah.
So BioScan at QTWE.net.
Yeah, because she's on this call and all the people that I'm testing aren't on the call. So why not? She's interested. Yeah. So since you
Bonus
showed
for
an
showing
interest,
up.
I'd be glad to test you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's super sweet. Hey, Olivia.
Olivia's asking another question.
Okay, Olivia, go ahead.
Actually, I was trying to lower my hand. I was asking her what number she said on the pH balance, because I'm usually a 7, and I didn't catch what number she said when she was talking about staying oxygenated.
Yeah, it's 5.5 in that range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 7.
So I
Yeah.
guess 7's
Yeah.
okay. All right.
So
That's
you
it.
wanna
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Olivia. So Darlene, you want to stay above 5.5? That's the
Yeah.
goal?
Just say above, yeah, between that range.
Okay.
Usually in the mouth, I usually test for, like candida and yeast and things like that around that pH.
Okay, so greater than 5.
And your urine, when you test your urine.
Okay, awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Darlene. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Rodge. Thank you to all of you. And, I say this at every call. I know it's probably you get tired of hearing it, but what's the best thing is that you guys are putting yourselves first. You are taking yourself seriously, loving yourselves to health, and committed to make a difference in your life. Because when you make a difference in your life, you make a difference in everybody's life around you. So we appreciate you all. Thank you for coming, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Darlene and Tracy. Thank you,
Thank you all of you.
Rodge.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank-
guys. Thank you, Barb.
Stay on
Bye,
it.
everyone. Thank you, Darlene.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Tracy.
Great day.
For being here. You too, Kathy.